Hi, welcome to the Food Princess recipe review. Today we have Cupcake Jemma's birthday cake cookie recipe to review. So when I first saw the birthday cake cookie recipe on Cupcake Jemma's channel, I was really excited because the cookie looks so good. But I didn't think that I was gonna make it initially, especially because she had this white chocolate caramel chocolate in the cookies, and I thought I wouldn't go through the trouble to do that. But I did come across some butterscotch chocolate chips, and I thought that would be the perfect substitute for the white chocolate caramel. That's why I went ahead to try this recipe. This is the first recipe that I followed exactly to the measurement, and I didn't adjust a single thing. But I did use a different flour, so I used cake flour instead of all-purpose flour. And we'll talk about the results at the end of the video. Keep watching to see the process, and I'll see you again at the end to talk a bit about how the cookies turned out. Just like the recipe, I started with some cold cube butter. I had the mixer with a paddle attachment, and I had the mixer break up the butter. Not too much. It wasn't, they said not to cream it, so I had it broken up slightly, and I added in the sugar as per the recipe. In the video, they did say that they reduced the caster sugar. They were emphasizing so much about how they adjusted this sugar accordingly, which is why I didn't want to do my own adjustment and reduce the sugar, which is why I followed exactly to the exact gram of how much sugar they added. Next, I added in the chocolate. I didn't use the white caramel chocolate that they used because I found these store-bought butterscotch chocolate chip, and I also used some white chocolate chip for the cookies. So I added it in and mixed it. I prepared the flour, and the recipe asked for plain flour and self-raising flour. I did substitute the plain flour with cake flour because in other cookie recipes, I didn't have a problem when I substituted cake flour for the plain flour. So that's what I did here. I sifted the flour with the baking powder and added the salt into the mix separately because I find that every time I try to sift the salt, it doesn't really pass through as well. I added the sifted flour into the mixture and had it mix until it had a sandy consistency, just like the video said, before adding in the sprinkles. I then added the sprinkles in next and had it mixed in, just like the Cupcake Jemma video recipe. I later added in the eggs. They recommended to whisk it first before adding it in, and that's what I did. And I also added the vanilla extract. I was really afraid of over mixing the mixture, so I stopped as soon as everything combined. I think the dough turned out pretty good. It came out the consistency that I think it should. It looked good. So then I weighed them and shaped them into little balls. I tried not overworking them and shaping and pressing them too hard. It was just a light press into a round shape before placing it in a Ziploc bag and having it freeze overnight before baking them. I had the frozen dough baking in a 175 degrees Celsius fan oven for about 23 minutes. Initially, I had them baking for about 15 minutes, but when I opened it, you can see that there's a missing piece because I opened it up and it was still really raw inside. So in total, I think I baked them for about 23 minutes and it came out okay. So I opened this up and you can see that it was a good consistency. It was baked through, but it was very crumbly because I used the cake flour. I have here one piece of, well, not even one piece. I have here a piece of the cookie, and the cookie itself is so cute. The colors are so beautiful because of the confetti, and I'm gonna tell you roughly how my cookies turned out. So first of all, I used cake flour instead of all-purpose flour, and I think that made the cookies super crumbly. So when I break it, you can see that it crumbles a lot. It is quite hard to break. I could have over baked it a bit, I'm not sure, but if I didn't bake it enough, it wasn't cooked through, and there was like a really strong cookie dough flavor as well. I frequently have this challenge where the recipe asks to bake it at 175 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 minutes, but that never works for me, no matter if I had the fan setting on or not. So I generally have to bake cookies at 20 minutes for it to be cooked. I think this went maybe for 25 minutes, so perhaps it's slightly cooked through, but nonetheless, it is very crumbly because I used cake flour. And well, I'm gonna have a taste. This isn't the first time I'm eating the cookies, but the general feedback, like, and the first impression I got taking the first bite of the cookie is that it's extremely sweet. It's crazy sweet. I've never ever not adjusted the sugar content on any recipes. And for this recipe, I followed the sugar to the exact measurement, to the exact gram, and it is way too sweet to my liking. It is insanely sweet. So if I were to make this again, there's no way I'm gonna put that amount of sugar inside. I'm gonna have to see how I adjust the ratio of it, but this is really, really sweet. I had a very difficult time finishing the whole batch of cookies. This is the last of it. It took weeks, and it wasn't a cookie that my household would reach for. It wasn't something that finished very quickly. It wasn't a bad cookie. Aesthetically, it is so beautiful, but it is so sweet, and because I used the wrong flour, I guess it doesn't have that chewy, dense cookie kind of consistency. It's really crumbly. You can see that it crumbles everywhere, which was quite different than some of the other recipes that I've made from other channels, other recipes. I did use all cake flour for those recipes as well, but I don't have the cookies crumbling as badly. So overall, would I make this recipe again? I might, but I would make half the batches size, because I would want to see how to adjust the sugar level so that it doesn't turn out so sweet, because this is really, really sweet, and eating one cookie doesn't seem like it isn't a pleasure to eat this for myself. It is so sweet. It's crumbly. Well, that's also my fault. But generally, I had a fun time making the cookie, but eating the cookie wasn't as fun of an experience. So that's my review. I'd say I would follow the recipe and use all-purpose flour. Perhaps that would turn out differently. And my recommendation is to reduce the sugar content. I don't know how that would affect your cookie because I haven't tried that out, but this is crazy sweet. Not a pleasure to eat. I could eat it, I can finish it, but it is not a pleasant experience for myself. I hope I gave a fair review. If there's any other recipe you'd like me to give a try, please let me know. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.